which brings us to the other side of the camera. So you can go ahead and put your cameras away right now. We won't need them for the remainder of class. Thank you for following along with me. And now we're going to address the other side of the camera. So there's more to just setting the right camera settings and using the right technical options to get a good shot for your film. Okay, that's only part of it. Okay, I mean, you need to have good camera settings and you need to know what you're doing with those camera settings in order to have a good looking shot, but there's more to it than that. There are other ways to be creative. There are important ways in which you need to understand how camera shots work so that you can have good shots, which brings us to our very short lesson today. Very, very short, only 5 slides long short. And it is on shot types. Film shots, angles, and camera movements. Now, the interesting thing about this stuff is I want to preface this with the concept, the idea that film is a language, okay? Film is a language, just like English is a language, just like Spanish is a language, or any other language that you may know or have heard before. Film, the literacy of it is an actual language. There's context and syntax and terminology and vocabulary and all this kind of stuff. And it's its own language, and it can make you think something or believe something or feel something, okay? And the cool thing is you actually know this language already because you've grown up with this your entire life, okay? You've watched movies your entire life. This film language is ingrained in your souls. You understand it. Okay, you know it inherently. It is part of our culture. What you don't know is how to speak in that language. You understand it beautifully. You understand it perfectly, but you may not know how to speak in that film language. And that's the goal of this class, is I want you to understand how to speak in film language. And we'll be talking about this concept more and more in the coming weeks ahead. But we're going to open it up today with just the very basic level of film language. And that basic root level of film language is our different shot types. And that's what we'll be addressing today. So when you have your shot can add depth and meaning to your story, to your imagery, to whatever is being shown on screen. So for example, I changed my camera angle this week. Last week, when I had class with you, my camera angle, I was way up here. Big old close-up. And I decided after a week of that, I was looking at my footage and I was looking at the lessons that I recorded, and I decided, you know what? That's a little intense. That's, you know, these students don't know me that well yet. I don't know if they want to be that close to my face. That's a little much. Okay, like it's like we're right there in there, you know, like I'm not sure how my students feel about that. That might be a little too close and personal. So I moved my camera back this week, and now I have this little more space for you to breathe, a little more comfortable, right? Okay, and that generates a feeling in you, the audience, even in something like this, even in a Zoom call, okay? Where you put the camera can make a difference. For example, right now, Tanaya is kind of far away. She's feeling distant from me. I don't feel as close to her as I do to Tori, who's a little bit closer to the camera. Okay, Carly, I'm looking down on Carly, so Carly feels really small right now. She feels really small, a little bit insignificant. Okay, all right, where you place that camera affects how the audience feels about the shot. This is the basic root level of film language. This applies to everything, not just movies. This applies to sports. This applies to the news. Pro tip, this may come as a shock to many of you, but the news is not always objective. Sometimes the news is biased. And sometimes the news uses these video film language techniques to make you feel a certain way, to elicit a certain feeling, and they do it on purpose because it's effective. They make you feel a certain way. That's the beauty of film language, is I can make you feel something without any words, just by how I move the camera and where I place it. That's film language. That's the beauty of film language. Great filmmakers, I said this the other day, you're going to hear me say it again and again and again. Great filmmakers are great manipulators. Okay, this is a good thing. When we go to see a movie, we're paying $11 for a ticket because we want to be manipulated. I want to feel something, right? I want my emotions to happen. I want you to push my buttons so I laugh, or so I cry, or so I get angry, or so I feel victorious or triumphant, whatever it may be, right? A good filmmaker can do this to an audience by using these techniques, by using film language, okay? And where you place the camera and the kinds of shots that you use can make that feeling happen, or can make that audience think what you want them to think. Whether it's film or sports or news or broadcast or media or even a Zoom call. Even a Zoom call, all right? If I put the camera way down here and I was like standing over it, I'd look huge and imposing and you'd all think I was a giant. I am a giant, but that's beside the point, okay? All right, so shots. Where you place that camera changes the look and feel, and that camera placement or movement can give meaning or add to the story. You always want to do your camera movement or your camera shot type based on the kind of story that you're trying to tell. It's there to support the story. So for example, if I moved the camera way far away from me, okay, way far away from me, if I put it on the other side of the room, so I was super small, like way just right here, super small on my screen, you would feel very distant from me. Okay, now that would be bad for a Zoom class, but if I'm making a video, if I'm making a story, a film, a narrative about a teacher who wasn't very good or something, or was distant from his students, I might want to use that shot to visually show that that teacher is not very good, or that teacher is distant from their students, or emotionally unavailable. On the other hand, if I was doing that big close-up that I did last week, right? That makes you feel really close to me, right? You might want to use that feeling for your films. Okay, pay attention to the movies that you watch. Pay attention to the television that you watch. Okay, you're going to watch a lot of TV and movies over the course of the next 2 years that you're with me. Sometimes I say go home and watch TV. That's your assignment. Okay, and if your parents ask, you can always use that as an excuse. I totally got your back on this. Okay, all right, but you can go watch TV or movies. Okay, watch the beginning of scenes. We don't start scenes with big, massive close-ups, right? Because it's too intense right away. We don't know those people. Why am I so close to these people? I'm uncomfortable. Right? We start a little further away. And then as we get to know those people, then we start to get a little closer and a little closer and a little closer. We'll talk more about this concept in the coming weeks ahead in other lessons. So where you place that camera can really change how the story is going to feel. You always want to place your camera in a way that supports your story, because story is the most important thing. Story is king. Okay? There's nothing more important than story. I don't care how good you are with the camera. The story is the most important thing. You always want to support the story with your visuals. So learning how to move that camera, place that camera, use the settings of the camera to your advantage to help tell the story is what separates a great filmmaker from someone who's making home movies. And we're not making home movies anymore. We are making films. We are making real films. All right, so you also want to have some variety in the way that you do your shots, okay? If I stayed on one camera angle this whole time, that would be really boring. The camera is like a human eye, right? You're taking the audience and you're giving them an eye into a new world that you're creating, and you're moving it around. Okay. Now, all of you, you can test this, right? All of you are sitting here watching me in my little Zoom conference, right? Okay. Now, some of you are looking right at me. Some of you are looking at the slides that are next to me. Some of you are looking at the gallery and you're checking out your friends right now. Some of you are looking down at your notes. Some of you have another window open and you're not paying attention at all. Like, there's a lot of different places that your eyes are going. If we were here in the classroom, I'd be at the front of the room with my slides, and some of you would be looking at me. Some of you would be looking at your neighbor. Some of you would be looking down at your hands. Some of you would be fiddling with your camera. Some of you would be looking at the clock because you're already bored, right? Our eyes in real life go all over the place, right? The camera in a movie is a human eye. It's the audience's human eye. So the camera needs to move. You don't want to leave that camera angle or that shot on one thing for too long. You're not making a play on tape. You're not filming a play, right? A stage play where it's only one angle the entire time. That's boring, right? You're making a movie, a film, right? You need to allow the audience to look at different things, to see different things, because that's what we do in real life. Even as I watch you right now, your eyes move around from place to place, right? Because we do that. We have no attention span whatsoever. And if I sat here and stared at you the entire time, that would be uncomfortable. You wouldn't like that. I'd be staring deep into the recesses of your soul, and it would make you feel a little awkward, okay? All right, so you want to move the camera around to give some variety, because it helps keep people interesting, but also so it allows you to show what's important to the different audience members, what's important in your story, okay? Now, sometimes we'll do this in a way that helps support the story. If there's a story that's happening really, really fast, we'll move those shots around really, really fast, right? Because it helps the feeling of the story. It helps the emotion of the story. On the other hand, you've seen this one before. Sometimes we'll hold that shot for a really long time because we want you to feel awkward. We want you to feel uncomfortable. You've seen this one before. This is the romantic comedy, right? Where the guy and the girl go on a first date to like the spaghetti shop or the pizza shop or whatever, and they sit there and they have nothing to talk about, and the camera shot just holds for a really long, uncomfortable amount of time. And you feel uncomfortable. You start to feel anxious and uncomfortable for the characters. You guys ever feel that? Where like this is why I can't watch reality television, right? Because I get uncomfortable for the people that are making fools of themselves, right? Right? You're empathizing with them, right? All right. You can hold that camera shot and you, the audience, start to feel uncomfortable. And they do that on purpose because it's an uncomfortable scenario. It's an uncomfortable scene. They want the audience to feel what the characters are feeling. Now you, the audience, identify with the characters. Now you like them more. Now you're invested in it. Now you want to keep watching. See, do you see how it's all manipulative? But in a good way, in a way that we want to be manipulated, right? That's how film works, right? So you can use this film language to your advantage to help tell the story or convey the emotion that you want your audience members to feel at any given point. But the most important thing is just to support that story. So, shot types. Let's talk about some shot types. It's important that we really know and understand the terminology. It's really important that you understand these words and these vocabulary words and terminology. It's really important for a couple of reasons. For starters, if you're a director and you're working with a bunch of people on a movie set, right? When you make films, you're never working just alone. You've got actors, you've got a camera operator, you got sound people. The bigger the film, the larger the crew. You might work with a couple of people on a freestyle film. By the time you're seniors, you're gonna be working with 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 people on a film, okay? It's important for you, the director, to be able to effectively communicate your vision. If I say, this is the kind of shot that I want, and I kind of want it to look like this, but then it's going to move and it's going to look like that, and my cinematographer is going to look like me like I'm an idiot. Like, what are you talking about? Like, use your words. Come on. All right. But if I'm very clear in the correct terminology, my cinematographer will know, oh, okay, I understand exactly what the director wants. And now I know how to implement that. And then my cinematographer does it, and I'm happy as a director, because they understood my vision, right? So you need to understand the terminology because that will help you as you collaborate, and it will also help you speed up time. If you have to explain every shot the way you want it, when you could just say, oh, I just want this. Well, now you save yourself a bunch of time, right? Like you don't have to waste time trying to explain your vision. You all want to be on the same page. So with that in mind, you guys know film language because you've grown up with it your entire lives. So you do know this. You may not know the terminology. You may not know the names and the vocabulary words, but you do know the concepts. So I want to ask you, my lovely audience of film students here, tell me, what are some shot types or some camera movements that you are familiar with? If you know the names, great. If you don't know the names, describe it and I'll help you out. Ready to go. Just speak up.
I've heard of like an over-the-shoulder shot.
Good. Good. An over-the-shoulder shot is exactly what it sounds like. It is like right now, we're focused on Optimus Prime. So if I turn around here and I'm talking to Optimus Prime, this is an over-the-shoulder shot where Optimus Prime is the focus. And you are looking at what I am looking at, which in this case is Optimus Prime. That's an over-the-shoulder shot. Very good. All right, another one.
I've heard of Dutch angles.
A Dutch what now?
A Dutch angle.
A Dutch angle. Very good. We call it a Dutch tilt. Okay. A Dutch tilt would be if I turned my camera a little bit on its axis. So instead of this shot right here, it would be this shot right here. And it feels a little weird because it's off kilter. It's not straight. This could be cool if you're filming someone, a character who's maybe a little off kilter. Someone who's not quite all there in the right ways. You could tilt that camera just a little bit and it makes them seem a little deranged, a little off. Okay, what else?
I've heard of an overhead shot.
Overhead shot, very good. So overhead, kind of looking down. Sometimes we call it a bird's eye view. We use drone shots for that sometimes, or ladders. I've stood on cars with tripods before. That's one good way to do it. But a nice overhead shot where you're looking down. Okay, good.
Maybe panning.
Panning, awesome. A pan is where you put the camera on a tripod. Okay, this is a tripod move. You put the camera on a tripod, and a pan is like this. So I'm going to swivel. I'm going from left to right or from right to left. This is a pan. Okay, not to be confused with if I was moving the camera like this. That's something different. A pan is where you're on a tripod and you're spinning left to right or right to left because you're on a 360 turning thing. Very good. What else?
Wide shot.
A wide shot. Ruben.
It's like you're kind of far away from the subject.
Good. A wide shot is kind of exactly what it sounds like. You're shooting very, very wide on your subject. So if we're shooting, but it also depends on what you're shooting, right? Like if I was shooting a wide shot of a person, I'd be able to see their whole body in the shot. If I was shooting a wide shot of New York City, that would be like a helicopter shot of all of the city, right? Like I couldn't shoot like one building in New York and then say, oh, this is a wide shot of New York City. No, it might be a wide shot of that particular building, but it's a wide shot of your whole subject. Okay, so very good. Far away and big and included of everything. Any others?
Point of view.
A point of view. Very cool. We call this a POV. Okay, a POV requires two shots. It requires one shot to encode what the POV is going to be, and then the actual POV. So in this case, I could do this. This would be my encoding shot. I would turn around and react to something that I'm looking at. I'm reacting to Optimus Prime, okay? And then I would shoot a close-up of what I'm looking at, which in this case is Optimus Prime, right around there. Okay? And that would be my POV. My point of view. You are looking at the world through my eyes. And oftentimes what I'll do is, what you'll see filmmakers do is you'll see them look, then you'll see what they're looking at, and then it'll come back to them and you'll see them react. Just bookending the POV shot. Very good, Tyler. Excellent. What else?
A close-up.
Close-up. Close-up is kind of exactly what it sounds like, right? It's a close-up. Okay, last week I gave you a close-up. This week I'm giving you something a little bit different. So let's actually look at that. I have a chart here. Let me share my screen. I have a chart that's very helpful. So here's my little chart. I stole it from the internets. And here it outlines all of the various kinds of shots. So here we have a full shot, which is a full-bodied shot of a person, right? Then we have a medium full shot, which cuts at the knees. I don't see that one very often, but it's there. Then we have a medium shot and a tight medium shot. This is a little weird to me. Most people refer to what this tight medium shot is as a medium shot. They have their medium shot cutting right here, like at the crotch. That's kind of weird. I don't see a whole lot of those shots. More often, this tight medium shot, which cuts here at the waist, usually we call that a medium shot. So I should update my graphic because this one's annoying me a little bit. You've got kind of a loose close-up. We usually call this a medium close-up. That's what I'm at right now. So if you're looking at my screen, I'm at a medium close-up. Most of you are at medium close-ups. Just about all of you are, except for Carly and Tanaya, who are both far away from me. Your shots are just kind of garbage. Sorry. They're just not very good. And I had both of your sisters. I expect better from both of you. This is kind of a problem. Good heavens. Good heavens. Tears. Yeah. All right. So we've got medium close-ups. Then we have a close-up. And here's a close-up on this image. So you'll notice a close-up. If I was a close-up, I'd be a little bit closer. I'd be cutting right around here, but you'd still get the top of my head a little bit. Okay. And then you have an extreme close-up, which actually crops at the forehead. So this is something that you have to actually think about. The important part of the face is over here, right? The eyes, nose, mouth, right? That's the important stuff. This is the money maker, right? This is the good stuff, all right? We don't think about it, but your eyes are actually in the middle of your head, right? We don't think about it because your hair covers all this stuff. And we always think our eyes are at the top part of our head. They're not. They're in the middle of your skull, right? So and everything else that's important is below that. So all the important stuff is in the lower half of your face. So when you do an extreme close-up, we don't care about all this stuff, even though my hair is amazing and it's always perfect. Even though we crop that off here at the forehead for an extreme close-up and we give ourselves some chin room because we want to put our face and keep it there at what we call the rule of thirds, which is this nice sort of part here in the upper section of the screen here, of the box. So that's an extreme close-up. Okay, clear? Good? There are many other types of camera angles and many other types of camera movements. I'm not going to tell all of them to you. You're going to have to do some research, which brings us to your assignment. And this is your assignment. And after I outline your assignment, we'll be done and I will let you go. And we will probably get out a little bit early. So congratulations. Your assignment is a video scavenger hunt. This is a fun one. This is a good one. Now, if we were here in class, we would use class time to do this. You'd get into little groups and you would take your cameras and you would run around campus, all over Mountain View High School, all over the parking lot, all over Freestyle campus, and you would get everything on my video scavenger hunt list, and you'd have to come back at a certain time, and if you didn't, you'd get a 0. And then the first group back, and then we would find out who has the most things, and the group that has the most things on the scavenger hunt would win, and they'd win bragging rights, and I'd give them an extra point on their assignment because I like winners. But obviously, we're gonna do that a little bit differently this year. However, this is still a group project, ladies and gentlemen. And some of you are like, whoa, how's this going to work? Group project, don't worry. I will explain. But first, let me show you an example of what a video scavenger hunt might end up looking like. So I'm going to share. All right, so here is a video that was done by some college students. I'm sure this was just a college film class assignment. It was probably their first college film class assignment. I know this because this was my first college film class assignment. But here you go. This is a video scavenger hunt that is full of various types of camera shots and movements for your enjoyment.
Let's just I'm gonna argue with you for your shot.
Dude.
And you can give that to Sean.
You think she'll...
People don't take kindly to seeing the likes of you around these parts. 6.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? What? So
I am Loki in the High Key Level. I am Loki, brother of Thor. Hey baby, wanna do it? Just a little silence, baby.
So, that's kind of what you're going to be coming up with. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is you're going to be, how many people are in this class? 12? It's 12, I think, right? So we're going to have 4 groups of 3. That's what we're going to do. 4 groups of 3. Now, let me explain, because some of y'all are already freaking out, okay? Relax. It's going to be cool. It's going to be chill. Okay, so we're going to have 4 groups of 3. You will be put into groups of 3, and you're going to get everything on my scavenger hunt list. Now, my scavenger hunt list is, you can find it. It is on my Canvas. I'll also be emailing it to you, but here, I'll share my screen so that you can actually kind of see it now. So here's our slate that I loaded in modules. We're on week 2, so here's our slate. And it looks wonderful because it looks amazing. Here's today, and no, that's yesterday. So there's material that you can review. Those are the links for the stuff that you can review. Here's today, here's class today. And here's the assignment, of course. You will work in small groups, get all the camera shots on the scavenger hunt list. You can click on the list and it's there. I also will share it with you after this class, so you'll have it in your email as well. And there's a lot of things on that list. There are different camera shots, there are different camera movements, and there's a few just kind of dumb, silly things that I just threw in for fun, just for fun. But you're gonna work in small groups. You will be in groups of 3. And I'm not going to put you into those groups of 3. It is up to you to form your group of 3. So what I'm going to do is I will email you with our own special class email. It will have everyone's name and email address, and it's up to you to figure out your group of 3, okay? This is not a time to be shy. You will have to be a little proactive. You'll probably have to work with people that maybe you don't know. Oh no, not meeting new people. Yes, meeting new people. You might have to meet some new people, okay? And you'll figure it out. Now, before some of you freak out, Mr. Taylor, there's a pandemic going on. I'm not even supposed to leave my house, yada, 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 this and that. Okay, yes, I know. Believe it or not, I'm aware that there's a pandemic going on. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we're all doing this digitally. Okay, so you will be in groups of 3, okay? But I'm not requiring, I need to be very clear about this. I'm not requiring you to ever meet in person, okay? Okay? Now, if you want to meet in person, if you want to take your group of 3 and go outside together as a group, that's what we would normally do. If you want to go out as a group of 3 and film everything on my scavenger hunt list and do it together as a group, and you're okay with that, and your families are okay with that, that's fine. Knock yourself out. I do not care. Okay? I am not requiring that. Okay? Okay? What I am requiring is that you work as a group collectively to get all of the shots as a group on the list. Okay? So you might divide up the responsibilities and say, hey, you take this part of the list, or you take that part of the list, or maybe you're all just getting everything you can because some of the stuff might be tricky to find. And then so-and-so texts you and says, oh, I found this. And you're great. I can check that one off, you know, and so on and so forth. I don't really care how you go about doing it. Okay. But as a group of 3, you're going to try to get everything on my list. Okay. So if we go back to my slate here, this is where things start to get a little bit tricky, because normally we would come back in class and you'd all have your SD cards, and you'd put in your SD cards and you'd load them onto our server, our Evo, and you'd all have one of these folders together, and you'd all edit as a group of 3. You would edit these clips together as one group. We can't do that, obviously, but I still need to teach you how to edit. Okay? So which means we are all going to be editing these clips individually next Monday. Next Monday, I'm teaching you about video editing, which is going to be a bear of a class. So there's a few things that we need to be prepared for Monday. For starters, you need to make sure that you are prepared by having the necessary software installed on your computer, okay? So if you have not already installed Adobe Premiere onto your editing computer of choice in your home, you need to make sure you do that this weekend, and that it's working and that everything is fine, okay? If you need help, the instructions are there for how to do that, okay? But make sure that you have your editing computer ready to go for class for editing Premiere. You cannot edit on a Chromebook. It will not work, okay? You can Zoom class on a Chromebook next to your editing machine, okay? But you can't edit on a Chromebook, so don't try it. It's not gonna, won't happen. You'll just crash, okay? So be prepared, because we're going to edit and Zoom at the same time. And for some of you, this is going to be a real challenge based on the technology that you have in your homes. And I apologize. If we were here in the classroom, you'd be using my amazing computers that I built myself, which are crazy fast and phenomenal, and you would love them and everything would be great. Oh, I have a chat. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Jeremy. Yeah. Okay. All right. So make sure that you're prepared for Monday by having Premiere installed on your computer. The other thing that you're going to need for class on Monday is each one of you needs to have all of your group's video clips saved onto your editing computer. We can't edit the clips if they're not on our computer, which means you and your group mates need to figure out a way to share the clips that you are going to gather with each other. So the way that I have it written on the slate is you should upload your stuff to Google Drive and then make that folder. One of you make a Google Drive folder. You can upload it to your Freestyle Google Drive. You have like unlimited space in there. You can upload your clips to a Google folder on your Google Drive, on your Freestyle Google Drive, and then share it so that your group mates have editing access, and then they can upload their clips to that same folder. And then on Sunday, you can all download your clips to your computer so that you're ready for class on Monday. Now, I had you guys all do a speed test a little while ago. If you didn't do it, you should have. It was an assignment, okay? And some of you have phenomenal internet, and some of you do not. So I sent out an email yesterday, and Flo sent that email to your parents as well. If you're a Comcast user, they changed their plans recently. How many of you are Comcast users? Anyone? Okay, so they changed their plans recently. It's worth a phone call. You might be able to get faster internet without spending a dime, without spending any extra money. You might be able to get faster internet, and you'll be glad that you did. Because if you have like anything below an upload speed of 5, like you're looking at hours of time for your clips to upload to Google Drive. Hours. Like you'll want to just do it overnight. Download speed, most of us can download clips pretty quickly. You don't need a whole lot of download speed to do that. But upload speed is going to be an issue. Some of you, like I'm looking at the numbers here, and like some of you have like 5, some of you have 10, some of you have 3, some of you have 4. I had someone this morning who had 830. Like that was insane. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? I'd kill for her internet. Okay. You're not required to go spend more money on your internet connection, but I just want to give you a heads up. If you have an upload speed of 5 or a little bit below 5, you need to budget enough time to upload stuff to Google Drive or to upload stuff to the Evo. Don't think that you can do it 5 minutes before class because it's going to take you 5 hours. Okay? So make sure that you plan for that. So on my slate, I wrote, have all of your clips uploaded to your Google Drive on Sunday. Now, if your group is comfortable meeting in person and you just want to, I'm working with Nick, and maybe Nick is like, yeah, I'm cool. Like we can go out and shoot together. So maybe Nick and I shoot together because our family circumstances are such that we can do that. And then at the end of the day, Nick says, here, Mr. Taylor, you take my SD card and copy all the stuff to your computer. And then tomorrow, just bring it back to me and I'll copy your stuff onto my computer. So you can certainly do that. Okay. That's certainly fine. You can do that. I don't care. You just all need your footage in class on Monday. Does everyone understand? So Google Drive is one way to do it without any human contact, but you need to budget enough time. You have enough time to do it. You all do, no matter what your internet's like, but you need to make sure you get the shots and budget and spend enough time uploading to do that. And when you upload, your internet's going to be a little slow while you upload, which is why it's good to do it like at midnight when everyone's sleeping, and then just go to sleep and then wake up in the morning and hope and pray that there were no internet interruptions in the middle of the night, which is a thing that happens. Okay, so that's the calendar. On Monday, we will edit that stuff together. If you don't know how to get your footage into the computer, if you have an SD card reader, some of you have SD card readers, you just put that SD card right into the computer or into the SD card reader, and then you can copy stuff over. If you don't have one of those, you don't need one. Take your camera with the SD card inside the camera and open up the little USB flap. There's a USB flap here on the side, right here in this little flap. You put a USB cable in there. Most of your cameras should have a USB cable in there. If it doesn't, any USB cable will work. Put it in there, connect that to your computer, turn on the camera and push the little play button here on the back, and then it'll pop up on your computer and you can copy all of your files from your SD card that way. So you don't need an SD card reader. If anyone has problems with that, please let me know sooner rather than later, and I can work with you to make sure that that's not an issue. If you're missing a USB cable and you don't have one in your home, which would surprise me, honestly, but if you don't have one in your home, I do have others if you need to come and get one from me tomorrow. Okay. That's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you go. You're going to be 5 minutes early, so that's awesome. Congratulations. 5 minutes, not too bad. No, 10 minutes. Yeah, baby. A whole 10 minutes early. Who's the best? I'm the best. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll be sending you an email as soon as I let you go. I will send an email to our class. This is our own class email. It's just for you guys. It doesn't have any other students on it. It doesn't have any other teachers on it. It's just me and you. And it's our own little class email. And I'm going to send that out to you. It will include a copy of our today's slides. It will include a link to the video scavenger hunt list. Even though all this stuff is also on the slate, it's also going to be in this email. And it will include everybody's name and email address from this class. So when I send you that email, that is your cue to start coordinating with each other to figure out which 2 people you're going to work with to gather these scavenger hunt clips. Okay? And there's, be nice and be friendly to each other, because a lot of you still don't know each other, and that's fine. It's scary and horrible to meet new people. I know, but that's the way it is. Okay. And everyone's going to be chill about it. So if I'm like, hey, Nick, you want to work with me and Ruben? Like, me and Ruben, we got a group. You want to work with me and Ruben? And Nick's going to be like, no, sorry. I already committed because I'm working with Autumn and the monster behind Autumn and Tori. And that's cool. I get it, Nick. No worries. No harm. No foul. Okay. Like, I'm not going to go cry tears because Nick doesn't want to be in my group. Okay. Nick just had other plans. Okay. It's okay, Nick. It's fine. I'll work with you another time. It'll be a good time. We'll have a party. It'll be great. We'll eat cookies and have some chocolate milk, maybe watch some cartoons, that kind of thing. It'll be cool. Okay. So I will send you an email. It'll have everyone's email address. It is your responsibility to find your group. Okay. I'm not going to babysit you. You're juniors in high school. I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm not going to approach someone and say, Stella, can Ruben please work in your group? He's feeling sad and lonely. Okay. I'm not going to do that. Okay. I'm not teaching kindergarten. Okay. You're juniors in high school. You're almost adults. You can figure it out. Okay. That's it. That's all I got. If there are no questions, do you guys understand what is expected of you? Okay, have some fun with it. It's a fun one. Okay, have some fun with it. There's some funny stuff on my scavenger hunt list. Have some fun with it. Be creative with your shots. Have a good time. Okay, don't edit anything. We're gonna edit it together in class next week. Okay, if you have questions or if you encounter difficulties, please email me. Let me know. That is all. I will see you later. Thank you for showing up to class. It has been an enjoyable day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Eat a cookie. I don't know. Someone needs to save Autumn from the monster behind her. And yeah, that's all. Okay, farewell. So long.
Thank
See
you.
you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.